Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, all praises and double honors due to Yahweh, Bahashem Hamashiach, wa Malak Yahweh Shai. Secondly, this is Brother Yardan, WFI Detroit, coming back at you with yet another cold cut. Today in this cold cut will be going over social media, all right? And this is really more so a warning for you brothers that may be addicted to social media, or you can't stay off Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Tumblr, Reddit. The list goes on. There's a whole list of social media sites that's out there that a lot of brothers it became a stumbling block into you, because we do understand social media. It can be a tool to further magnify the name of the Lord, but it turned into a stumbling block for a lot of Jake, and that's sad. That's sad to say, and it's sad to hear. Right? We have certain brothers that might message us or tell us, I'm addicted to it. I can't stay off of it. Brother, you have to have some type of self-control. Right? You have to be mindful of how you spend your time in these last days. The Most High put in man's spirit to make the internet ultimately so that the truth may be magnified throughout all four corners of the world. Right? Not for you just to scroll and watch funny videos all day. Right? But it was ultimately made so that the truth may be magnified. All right. And I want to, let me bring this out first. This is Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, right? That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Right, and that's not to say you have to have your Bible in front of your eyes 24/7. Of course, you can have leisure in your day. Even the Lord said, "Depart not thyself of a good day." But you shouldn't spend hours on end on social media. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Right? You shouldn't spend 5 hours on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, listening to music all damn day. That's a poor waste of your time. You have to rightly divide your time. You have to have this amount of time for the word. This little bit of time for your leisure or whatever, right? According to your spirit and how you move and operate in this thing, you have to be mindful in these last days. And all the times that you spend hours on the internet, on social media, looking up folly, right? Yeah, you could be reading, you could be finding out new information through the videos on YouTube, right? Because there is a positive light to social media, right? There's that truth that you can look up. You can watch truth videos, right? You can dive into history. So like I was saying earlier, technology is a tool. This internet is a tool. And like all tools, you can use it for a positive reason or a negative reason, right? A hammer is a tool. I can use it to build a house or build whatever. But I can also use it for evil if I want to hurt somebody. All right, so this internet itself is a tool, and we're trying our best to utilize it to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and also spread forth that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding throughout the world. So again, this is a reminder for you Jakes who may happen to be addicted to internet or Facebook or Twitter. Hey, slow down, relax. Right? Even the Lord said, what's ever troubling you, you got to cut off your right hand. Let me bring it out. This is Matthew chapter 5. I'll start at verse 26. I'll go there. It's Matthew 5 and 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time that thou shalt not commit adultery. Plain upon tables. Don't commit adultery. Don't do it. Right? It's easy to understand. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart, which is your mind. So in other words, for those who may not understand, if you look at a woman and you look at her in a way that you may want to lay down with her in her head, you committed adultery already. Because first, all sin starts in your mind or your heart, aka your heart. So you think about it and then you execute it with your right hand. Verse 28. Similar to, and I'll pause just to say, similar with Cain. Cain was upset that he liked Abel's sacrifice, right? So he had that animosity. He was premeditating on thinking about killing him, and then he executed it with his right hand. Or maybe it was his left, I don't know. But the point is, it starts with your mind, sin, to commit sin. Verse 28, but I say unto you, that whosoever looketh on a woman, I read that. Verse 29, and if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out, and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. And this is a very true saying. Now, for those who don't understand, this isn't literal. The Lord he speaks in parables and similitudes, right? Because his word is not meant for everybody. Salakia. That's Satan. Let me take this down. Matthew 13:10. And the disciples came and said unto him, why speakest thou unto them in parables? Verse 11. He answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Which is why we see all throughout the Gospels the Lord, Yahweh Shai, who the word Achan calls Jesus the Christ, him speaking in parables and similitudes. And we see that in Matthew the 5th chapter, the 29th verse. So when he says, and if thy right eye offend thee, in other words, if you have anything that's stumbling you or hindering you, pluck it out. If your right eye is troubling you, for this example, let's say if your right eye is you got a disease or whatever, you got to pluck it out, right? If it's causing you any type of trouble or harm on a carnal level, your right eye, you're gonna have to get it surgically removed, right? But on a spiritual level, it still applies. If there's something that may be hindering you, you gotta put it far from you. That's all it's saying. And he says the same thing, but in a different way. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members should perish, and not that thy whole body should be cast into hell. Right? So it's profitable that you cut off certain things that may be a stumbling block unto you. Right? For certain brothers, if you may be looking at a woman and you can't help yourself, and you always thinking enticing things and, sexual lewd things, and you don't know if that woman's married, more than likely, she is, you committed adultery, right? So if your eyes are offending you on another level, if your eyes are offending you, it kind of, don't look at women then. Don't look at them, right? Verse 30, if your right hand offendeth thee, cast it off. And I'll bring out the example. Let's say the internet, for the, since we're talking about it, social media. Let's say, I got my phone right here, right? Let's say, I can't stop being on my phone. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to turn it off, and put it to the side for about 4 hours, 3 hours, whatever, right? Whatever I can do to help myself, I'm gonna have to, do it, right? The Lord is pretty much telling us, hey, go to the chalkboard and figure out what you're doing is wrong or what you're doing is right. Right. In this case, whatever you're doing wrong, you figure out what you're doing wrong and get to the problem and get to the solution ultimately. In fact, there are certain devices, like cage-like devices, you can throw your phone in, push a button, and you locked out. Now you can't get your phone for like X amount of hours. However many hours you want to put it on, or minutes. So this applies to the lesson that we're touching on today, which can be seen in the title of the video, beware of social media. right? This is Proverbs 28 and 25. That's not it. 25 and 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. All right, now that's self-explanatory. That's plain upon the tables. If you don't have any rule over your spirit, then you're like a city without walls, without protection. And if your spiritual walls are decayed or it's not fortified and it's crumbling, then guess what? You're vulnerable to a lot of spirits entering into that city and raising hell, ultimately having control over you. So you have to have rule over your own spirit, lest you fall victim to sin and death. If that makes sense. Because that's ultimately what it leads to. And not only that, guess what? That's going to affect other people. Because now you got spirits on you. Hey, you know spirits hop to and fro. And that what Satan said to the Lord, I'm going to and fro. That's one of the reasons why that conversation went like that. I'll get that real quick. This is Job chapter 2, verse 1. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Now you have to understand, the Lord already knows everything. The Lord very well knows why Satan was going to and fro, or where he came from. After all, it tells us in the book of Job 28 and 23. Let me get it. The Lord said this, God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. For he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven. So one of the reasons why he asks Satan, where did you come from? Is so Satan could clearly say, look, I'm going to and fro. So you can understand how evil spirits operate. Evil spirits, they operate by going to and fro, causing havoc. Because you know when Satan goes to and fro, he's not coming peaceably. He's coming to cause all hell. So that's exactly how these spirits on the left-hand side move. They go to and fro. So when a spirit hop on a certain brother, best believe that spirit is going to try to antagonize or provoke that other brother and break down his walls and jump on that brother. All right. That's how you get a strong delusion on you. And guess why all this happened? Because you don't want to have any self-control. So I'm going to say that's what it kind of comes down to. It's pretty much what it comes down to in this truth. Having self-control. Because that idea doesn't only apply to social media, but also applies to lust. It applies to reading. It applies to a whole matter of things. So you must have self-control in this thing, in its truth, in its walk. But I digress because the topic at hand is specifically technology and social media. So again, be mindful of what you on, what sites you go to, who you follow. You could be one follow away from sin. So you have to limit yourself and, again, be wise in how you operate in this thing. This is Iraq. What's that? It's on the tip of my head. I gotta pull it up. What is that? Profitable. Here we go. That's how it go. This Iraq. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Oh, man. This is Sirach 37 and 28. I'll start at verse 27. My son, approve thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. So I don't remember if I brought it up earlier, but there are certain brothers, they don't have social media sites, right? Because they understand that it's not profitable to them, right? Neither do they have any pleasure in it. But there are certain brothers that do have it, and in their leisure, they might find pleasure in it. They might watch a funny video or whatever the case may be. But you have to prove your soul and figure out what's profitable for it and what's not. Okay? So Abba Ratazah, Israel has been edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Bashai. Again, this is a warning for all Israel scattered abroad, for men, women, children alike. Be mindful of your consumption of the internet and how you consume the internet. Be mindful of it. All right. Even the Lord said, defraud not thyself of a good day. Put down your phone, go for a walk. That's what our forefathers did. They went out and meditated a lot. They went for walks. They observed nature. And I want to pull that real quick so I won't be found a liar. Job 12 and 7. But ask now the beast, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air they shall tell thee. Or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Right? Of course, we're not Dr. Doolittle. We can't speak to these animals, in English or Cantonese or in German or Latin. Neither can we speak to these animals in Hebrew. But what it's saying is, see the nature and the operation of, see the nature of these animals in our wild habitat. See how they move. See how they communicate. Right? Understand why they do this and why they do that. And what you can gain from that is a plethora of knowledge. Right? For example, where is that? Proverbs 6 and 6, the classic. Go to the ant, thou sluggard, consider her ways and be wise. When you watch the ant, and you can understand what? You gotta move in haste when it comes to doing the work. You can understand you gotta be strong, because the ant can lift up, I believe, 6 times his weight. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But nonetheless, it can lift up. It's very strong. That's all I'm saying, right? And it's real. What? It's mindful. You don't see an ant kind of just chill out and land on the ground, eating a big leaf. An ant they move in unison, right? An ant is very strong and mindful. But I'll touch on that on another cold cut regarding the animals and observing them and how they teach us. But I brought that out to say, go outside sometimes, go for a walk. So with that, I'm going to bid Israel Shalom. Stay strong in the spirit, truth, and power of Yahweh Shema Bashai. Pray, fast, repent, for the days are at hand. Shalom, Brother Yardan.